Hi, I'm Tom, and along with my group members Caleb, Matt, and Trayvon, we're going to teach you a little bit about how banks are using virtual reality to enhance the customer experience. Virtual reality is a computer-generated simulation of an environment or 3D image that can be interacted with. According to the Millennial Disruption Index, 33% of millennials would rather use financial services from Google or Apple than a national bank. Additionally, 33% of millennials believe that in a few years they will not use banks. Because of this, that banks need to adapt to the millennial generation, thus the introduction of VR.
As we all know, digital-only banks and mobile banks are already here. Someday soon we'll be able to go to a virtual bank. If customers are not able to visit a physical branch location for whatever reason, they will soon be given the possibility to go to a virtual branch. The hope is that these branches will be able to provide the same services, but exclusively in a VR environment. Not only is this experience helpful to customers, but it also reduces costs for banks as they no longer need to invest in physical location. A 2016 Wall Street Journal study shows that millennials are more willing to use new communication technology at work. 66% of global employees are willing to use AR or VR technology, compared to 77% of millennials. 66% of global employees agree that virtual sharing is important because it allows remote collaboration, compared to 73% of millennials. 51% of global employees agree that better technology will make face-to-face obsolete, while 60% of millennials believe that this statement is true. With that increase in willingness to use technology, banks are creating new technology worldwide to enhance their customers' experience. Digiday.com mentions that virtual reality has emerged as a hot topic in banking with the rise of artificial intelligence, innovation labs, and the ETH of physical bank branch. Venture capital funding in VR totaled $2 billion from 2015 to 2016, according to DigiCapital. And revenue from VR is expected to hit $162 billion or more by 2020, from $5.2 billion in 2016, according to IDC research.
Commonwealth Bank, one of the largest institutions in Australia, built what they call a virtual reality workplace experience. The bank's VR begins with you in a CBA innovation lab. There, a CBA colleague tells you the bank is interested in building an app that will allow people to process invoices, so paper invoices are no longer needed. The goal is twofold: to give you a clear insight into the culture of CBA and the projects their employees take on, as well as the app itself showing off the type of innovative and agile thinking that happens within the bank's workforce. Even seen in Commonwealth Bank's About Us page, they emphasize their future plans with VR. At ComBank, we're thinking differently. We're committed to creating a future filled with solutions for our customers and our employees that will change their perceptions of banking. Innovation Lab enables you to explore firsthand how we're using innovative and agile work practices to develop market-leading consumer-centered solutions. Wells Fargo's Together Experience Tour gave consumers the opportunity to test drive the latest technology from Oculus while also trying out a Whiz-Dash omnidirectional treadmill. Participants were challenged to navigate a virtual maze challenge and collect as many gold coins as possible before the game ended. The primary purpose is branding and getting Wells Fargo out there in a new and different and fun way. Jennifer Copeland, VP and Experimental Marketing Manager at Wells Fargo, told the American Banker, "It allows us to show we are part of the community, that there's more to us than financial products. We're able to show people a good time."
Citi explored opportunities to increase trader efficiency using a 2D and 3D holographic workflow. The workstation itself is a complex framework that extends information-based computing into mixed reality by integrating 2D screen space, 3D holographic docking space, keyboard, mouse, gesture, and voice input. Citibank traders work with hundreds of financial instruments. The station complements existing Citibank devices and workflows for financial trading. In the HoloLens workstation, each one is represented by a sphere and is grouped into a color-coded asset class. Sphere volumes correspond to market volumes for a particular future, and particle clouds correspond to clusters of trader activity. Therefore, a trader can quickly see where the action is in the market and can zoom in for a closer look. Citi partnered with Live Nation and NextVR to produce a series of live virtual reality concerts as part of its Backstage with Citi initiative program. Fans were able to enjoy live shows and virtual backstage experiences with popular artists using VR headsets. Citi also held the first ever VR concert live stream on the Today Show. They took requests from consumers and had 30,000 requests for VR headsets. Citi gave those headsets away, and people were able to experience that live show from Rockefeller Plaza, but also experience it from home as if they were there.
According to Raja Bose of Genpact, customers have rarely found a way to interact with banks that they don't like. Branches, contact centers, online and mobile banks are now letting customers interact with them online via social media. The more ways you get customers to interact with the banks, the better. Frank Rose of the Wall Street Journal reviewed the promise of virtual reality. Rose mentions that today VR suffers from a basic shortcoming. Virtual reality is going to turn into must-have technology when you could talk and interact with other people in a way that seems utterly normal. But since humans are still really primitive, it makes it hard to connect with others in a realistic fashion. Someday we'll get there, but for now, there's a lot of work that needs to get done.